Good evening and welcome to the 2018 Smith County Mayoral Debate. I'm J.R. Smith and I will serve as your moderator tonight. There are 4 candidates who would like to lead this county, and they are on stage at this moment. We have Jeff Mason, Mark Jones, Billy Woodard, and Ricky Slack. We appreciate all of you for joining us tonight. We also have our live studio audience, so could you please welcome these candidates to the debate tonight and let the viewers at home hear you. Thank you. We are here in the Hall Theater inside the historic Smith County Courthouse in Carthage, and we appreciate them for hosting us. We would like to thank Bass Funeral Home for sponsoring the cost of the rental fee for tonight's debate. Their family has been serving Smith County for 5 generations. With a member of the Bass family at each of their locations, you can be assured of their unending dedication and commitment. We would also like to thank our other sponsors tonight for helping make this event possible. Powell and Meadow Insurance, R.M. McCaleb Transportation, Joey Nixon for District 7 County Commission, and Hackett's Discount Drugs. Tonight, our candidates will be answering questions submitted by you, the viewers. They will have up to 2 minutes to answer each question. If they mention or disparage another candidate, that candidate will be given a 30-second rebuttal. They will also have 90 seconds for their opening and closing statements. All right. Let's get right to it. First off is our opening statements. Before the debate began tonight, each candidate drew for a position and they picked alphabetical order. The person who drew first is Mark Jones, and he will lead us off. Mark.
Thank you everybody for being here, and thank you Smith County Insider for allowing us to do this. It's very important that we get to talk with everyone, and it's a large county. It's hard for us to get all the way to everyone's home. It's 24/7 world, so this is a huge help, and I'm very grateful for it. And like you said, I'm Mark Jones. I'd love to bring my experience, my career, my life experience as far as business and government. It's a unique perspective of both. I've got over 20 years of both, successful in both, and I would like to bring that to our county and show them what I've learned throughout my career.
Jeff.
I echo Mark's comments in thanking everyone for being here. Thank my family and my friends for being here. Thank you, Kobe, and your team for doing this. I can't remember my 45 years ever being a debate at the county level, and that's a good thing. That shows you how much our world's changing every day. We had a little old school watermelon cutting last week, so we got a little bit of best of both worlds. I do want to be your next mayor. My name is Jeff Mason. Tonight, we're going to give our interviews. Basically, this is a job interview, and you're going to ask us questions. We're going to answer it. I have to say that all 3 of the gentlemen on either side of me have run this campaign with civility and gentlemanliness, and I hope that continues tonight. And I look forward to discussing issues.
Ricky.
Thank you. I'm Ricky Slack, and I want to be your next county mayor. I've lived here all my life. I've worked in all services and emergency services. I have been actually held every title that you could, from lieutenant to captain to chief in those. So I have a lot of supervisory experience, and also working with budgets. The next person that comes in here has a big deal to with these new budgets, because we're looking at building new schools. We've got to change some infrastructure. But the next person that you elect needs to have integrity and be able to deal with budgets and deal with county government. Thank you.
Billy.
Hi, I'm Billy Woodard, and I'd like to be your next mayor, like these other gentlemen. I guess the question comes up, why should you vote for me? Well, all of us are going to say we love Smith County, and I believe that. I want to make a difference in the home that I was raised in. I believe that if you're blessed, you owe something back. I've always believed that. I'm active in my church. I believe faith is the key to success. I believe there are a lot of problems that we have that could be solved with the love that's expressed in the scriptures. I've been around. I didn't just show up for the election cycle. 24 years as a county commissioner, 16 years on the budget and finance, community service for decades, church volunteer for decades, participated in events long before I became a chamber director, applied for and received many grants for the local government and local projects. I'm active in the business community and understand that we have to have a multifaceted approach to making Smith County grow. We need a trained and educated workforce. We have to have school facilities that are safe and can educate our children to the highest possible level of competency. We have to have good facilities for them to work in and good employers that'll pay a more than a living wage for good workers. What all this adds up to is a desire to serve the people of Smith County to the best of my ability, and I would appreciate your support in that.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for your opening statements. Right after this break, we will begin with our questions.
Why settle for the rest? Stick with the best when it comes to your pharmaceutical needs. And around here, Hackett's Discount Drugs has long been the best in serving the needs of their customers. From medical supplies to filling your prescriptions, the staff at Hackett's Discount Drugs go the extra mile to make sure their customers are served in a friendly, timely manner. Call today or stop by 70 Dixon Springs Highway in Carthage. Stick with the best. Hackett's Discount Drugs.
Joey Nixon has lived in District 7 all of his life. Joey is a fourth-generation county commissioner. His parents, Kenneth and Linda Nixon, raised him here, and now he and his wife, Rusty, are raising 2 children of their own. But not only is Joey a family man, he is a community man. He volunteers his time on many boards and organizations and strives to make District 7 a better place for our future. So don't forget to vote starting July 13th for District 7 County Commissioner candidate Joey Nixon.
My name is Joey Nixon, and I'd appreciate your support and vote on August 2nd.
We're a family farm that's been in business since 1927, started with my great-grandfather. Hal and Meadows and their staff there have been exceptional to recognize our needs, to have a product that meets our needs, that quality service that we can only find with their company.
We realize that you have many choices when purchasing insurance products. We at Palmettos want to be the choice. Let us show you what real customer service can be.
At Powell & Meadows Insurance Agency, we work for you. Call today or visit us online anytime.
R.M. McCaleb Transportation Company is a local family-owned business that is always looking for good, experienced drivers. If working in the Southeast and being home on the weekends interests you, check us out on Facebook or visit our website, rmmccalebtransportation.com, or give Jake McCaleb a call, 615-489-6604. R.M. McCaleb Transportation Company, it's a good place to call home.
Are you tired of reading news in a bulky newspaper? Smith County Insider has you covered with up-to-date real-time news at the touch of your fingertips. The citizens of Smith County deserve to know what's happening around them as it happens. Let Smith County Insider help you promote your business or special events with our personalized advertising packages. Be sure to visit us at our website, smithcountyinsider.com, or follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to the Smith County Mayoral Debate. The first question is for Mr. Mason. What is the biggest problem facing Smith County, and how would you tackle it?
Wow, that's a good question. The biggest problem. I would say the drug problem. The opioid condition that we're facing in this county is astronomically scary. 6 months ago, I wasn't as involved and knew about that as I needed to be. Once I got in this race, I kind of learned our issues we're facing. I'm not sure from the mayor's desk what the best approach is and what we need to do, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I met with the Drug Recovery Court the other day, and they asked me, and I asked them what I ask everybody, what do you want from the next mayor? And their answer was education. So if I'm elected, I will help educate the community on the problem we have and the solutions that they're presenting, and the way that we can help the people that are fighting those battles. It's scary. It shook me to my core the first time I went to a drug coalition meeting to hear that, because I looked at people and said, that could happen to me. Friends and families that I've known for a long time that are fighting that battle from a simple surgery, a wisdom tooth being cut out. It's a problem, and I'm willing to do whatever has to be done, and whether that is, whatever that be from the mayor's office, I'm willing to do whatever.
Mr. Slack.
I believe one of the biggest problems we're facing here is our infrastructure. Of course, I work in a profession that deals with opioid crisis. But, we have good plans in place. We have a great sheriff's department, great police departments that are handling this. We have a drug task force agency that's working on this also. But our infrastructure is one thing that we are lacking. And if we're going to move forward in Smith County, we're going to have infrastructure. A lot of people think just because we come in and build houses that brings tax dollars in. Actually, in the end of that, it does not. It costs us money because we have kids going to schools. It makes our schools have to have more room and more teachers. It's on our roads and different things. So our biggest thing that we've got going here for us that's our problem is our infrastructure. You've got parts of the county that doesn't have water still. I've got water, and we take it for granted. But people that don't have water, that have a well, that when it goes dry and they don't have water, they don't have anything to shower, take, or drink with. These days you can't do anything without internet. We have a lot of places across the county that doesn't have internet or have cell phone service. And that's very important this day and time because most of us do everything online now. It's hardly ever that we do any of the old snail mail bill paying. A lot of people, when you go to do things, they want you to do it online now. So we have got to get a good baseline infrastructure from one end of the county, east and west, and north and south, that is the same, that gives every person living in Smith County the same advantage to do things.
Mr. Woodard.
Well, being a rural county, Smith County has a lot of things that it has to face, and it's a little unique. We're not a metropolitan area, so we have some unique problems that maybe they don't have. One of the things, one of the counties that touches us, they're graduating their best and brightest, and out of every 4 that graduates, 3 of them leave and don't come back. So what we've got to do is, as a rural community, we've got to start doing things that will help these young people to be able to have a job, and the right kind of job, and the level that they can earn the kind of money that they're being educated for. Broadband is an issue. We need broadband in this whole county, and it's being dealt with, and maybe by 2020 we're going to have that. Our workforce development, we've got to work hand in hand with the schools and with the employers and the manufacturing and the retail that we have here to be able to educate our children to the jobs that are coming and the jobs that are going to be there. Though that's a problem I think that we have, because if we don't do those things and look at those things, we're going to start seeing those people leave the county, and we're going to have a brain drain that we can't stop. So I feel like that that will take care of a lot of the problems that we have in the county. Sure, we have an opioid problem, and everybody does. Sure, we have a infrastructure problem, and everybody does. But with all of the things that, when you look at the total picture, you can do something with this because we're a rural county to try and build it up to where you have the facilities and the money to take care of these problems that we have. And that's what it takes. It takes government governing and going after the grants and the employers that we can get that'll help us to build our base to where we have the tax base to be able to deal with these problems.
Mr. Jones.
Well, with being in law enforcement for 20-something years, I've got firsthand knowledge of or experience with the drug situation that we have. And in reality, I don't believe that it's any worse today than it was in the last several years. I think that it's just brought to more attention. And with that, the commissioners and the leaders of the county now are already working on education, and it's a lot of area there that's not just law enforcement. You've got to educate, you've got to recovery, you've got to do a lot of things. It's no one answer for that. And jobs is not going to be a new company is not interested in coming here with the lack of an infrastructure, and I'm going to have to agree with Mr. Slack on this. The infrastructure here has to be number one. We've got to work on this, and with that, we can bring those new jobs. A new company is not going to want to get off at Gordonsville and can't go to their workplace of work. Their employees, their shipping, and everything can't get there because it's already congested. So we've got to work on the infrastructure, and not only just the roads, but the water system, the internet system, and that's countywide. And we're in a time now that nobody in the county should be without any of those things. Not to say that the drug problem is not a problem, because it is. It affects everybody. But there's answers that's already in play for those things. It's already being established. It's something that we're working on. But without establishing a better infrastructure, then no career companies are going to want to come here.
Mr. Slack, this next question will start with you. Would you support a move to sell the landfill to a private firm? If not, how will you manage the daily operations of the landfill and the financial expenses of it?
The landfill is a two-edged sword. If we sold the landfill, what are we going to do with our trash? Right now, Smith County taxpayers are not paying anything to have their trash dealt with. I don't get a utility bill for it or anything. Yes, my tax dollars do go to it. I think our landfill, one problem we have is we're filling it up. We're having to take other people's trash in, so we, as taxpayers, don't have to pay a tax, I guess, a utility bill every week. I can't be supportive of selling our landfill. I can be supportive of changing the way we do business at the landfill. We have excellent people over there that work. We have our hometown people that work there. And if we sell our landfill, we've got unemployed people that live here that pay taxes. So with our landfill, what we need to do is restructure it, raise our tipping fees a little bit to offset it, and not take in as much trash. I know we take in a lot from Waste Management, I believe, and they're closing their landfill over at off of 231, and they're going to be looking for somewhere to go. But we're just going to have to slow down what we're bringing in to give our landfill a lot longer life. But with that, you've got to figure out how to pay that. And right now, as I said, it's a two-edged sword. It cuts both ways. So if we get rid of our landfill, we've got a problem. If we keep our landfill, we've got a problem. We've just got to find an in-between to make it work. And it can be done with our landfill committee that we have. There's a lot of history on that, of people that's worked on that for a long time, and with our county commissioners. You know, a lot of people worry about the landfill being on the river. Our landfill has liners in it to keep it from leaking, but I'm sure one of these days there will be a problem, and we need to be putting money back every year to open and close the sales that we have. It's just like saving in your savings account. If we don't save anything, then you can't have the money to close or open something.
Mr. Woodard.
Well, you can't unring a bell. In the 1980s, we decided to be in the landfill business when Mr. C.E. Hackett was the county judge. And at that time, it was a good decision. People were paying pretty high tipping fees, and there was a lot of trash all over the county. I know many of you might remember this, but I remember when up and down the roads, it was a lot worse than it is now. And aside, we spend about $85,000 every year in the county just picking up roadside trash. And that would be money that could be spent somewhere else if we could just get people to keep their trash in their car till they get to a trash can. But to talk to the landfill, closing it for me is not an option, because we'll be responsible for it no matter what happens. Smith County is responsible for it because they opened it. Selling the landfill is not an option, because you don't know who's going to bring what in, how quick they'll fill it up, or what they'll do. And plus, where are we going to take our trash? We've got to take it somewhere, and we'll be at the same situation that a lot of people in the counties are around us. They're at the mercy of the operators as to what kind of tipping fee they pay. Best option is to continue operating it for the benefit of the taxpayers. Right now, no taxpayer dollars go into the landfill. It's a totally self-sustaining operation, and it has been so for, as far as I know, the entirety of its life. Now, there's a few times when it had some problems, but those seem to have been ironed out financially, and we're looking good. We take a certain amount of trash. I believe it's 200 tons. I won't say what frequency that is, but the 200-ton figure, we take that in an ability to give us the ability to be able to pay the bills. And that's why convenience centers and the landfill doesn't cost anything. What you can do is look at that amount of trash that we're bringing in, and you can reduce it to a level to where you're still paying the bills and you're still amortizing the landfill out. You've still got your post-closure fund that you're going to have when you need to close it. And My time's up. There's a lot more to say.
Thank you so much. Mr. Jones.
Definitely not. Not be interested in selling it at all. That's a beast that we've created. It's a bad business to be in, but it's ours. We have to keep that and control that to the level of intake from the outside trash. The surrounding counties bring way more than what we put in ourselves. The rate, being on the solid waste committee, I'm vice chair. The weight that or the rate rather that we've just went up to July 1 was from $33 to $37. I believe that we need to raise it more. There should be a punishment if you're an outside entity bringing your trash to our county. It's something that I'm not a fan of. I wasn't from day one. If it was a good business to be in, all the surrounding kids have their own. But no, I wouldn't be interested at all in selling that. That's our problem, and we just need to slow down the intake and raise the rates.
Mr. Mason.
Thank you. Being in the last year and a half dealing in waste industry and dealing with my customers, I've learned this. A landfill is a valuable commodity in that business. We own that commodity, but we're not getting the maximum dollars that we can out of that. My understanding, the waste management contract ends next year. I would be all for trying to renegotiate that at a higher fee. As Mr. Slack said, Republic owns the landfill down in Rutherford County, and they've got about 5 more years on that. There's a lot of trash in Rutherford County. It's got to go somewhere. So let's get the most money we can out of the trash that we're taking. Let's build our reserves. Let's get our debt paid down, get our shutdown fee up, and let's try to manage that amount of trash that we come in. None of us here today want to be in the waste business and our landfill business when we go in. If we're elected, Michael Nesbitt didn't want to be, Billy Bass didn't want to be, but as we've all said, it's a problem we have today, and it's an opportunity to manage that and get more money for our space. If I asked any customer of mine today what they wanted, and they wouldn't say trucks, they wouldn't say dumpsters, they'd say, give me a landfill, because I control the market when I do that. And landfills are not readily available and to be able to be started. So let's maximize our commodity and get the most money, get our taxes not involved, because right now, as they said, there's no money going towards that from our tax dollars. And if we shut down tomorrow and sell, it's about a 62-cent property tax increase for us to manage that and not take any outside trash. And again, I don't want to sell it because then we lose control.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for your answers to the first 2 questions. We will pose questions to other important issues after this short break.
RM McCaleb Transportation Company is a local family-owned business that is always looking for good, experienced drivers. If working in the Southeast and being home on the weekends interests you, check us out on Facebook or visit our website, rmmccalebtransportation.com, or give Jake McCaleb a call, 615-489-6604. RM McCaleb Transportation Company, it's a good place to call home.
We're a family farm that's been in business since 1927, started with my great-grandfather. Hal and Meadows and their staff there have been exceptional to recognize our needs, to have a product that meets our needs, that quality service that we can only find with their company.
We realize that you have many choices when purchasing insurance products. We at Palmettos want to be the choice. Let us show you what real customer service can be.
At Powell & Meadows Insurance Agency, we work for you. Call today or visit us online anytime.
Joey Nixon has lived in District 7 all of his life. Joey is a 4th-generation county commissioner. His parents, Kenneth and Linda Nixon, raised him here, and now he and his wife, Rusty, are raising 2 children of their own. But not only is Joey a family man, he is a community man. He volunteers his time on many boards and organizations and strives to make District 7 a better place for our future. So don't forget to vote starting July 13th for District 7 County Commissioner candidate Joey Nixon.
My name is Joey Nixon, and I'd appreciate your support and vote on August 2nd.
Why settle for the rest? Stick with the best when it comes to your pharmaceutical needs. And around here, Hackett's Discount Drugs has long been the best in serving the needs of their customers. From medical supplies to filling your prescriptions, the staff at Hackett's Discount Drugs go the extra mile to make sure their customers are served in a friendly, timely manner. Call today or stop by 70 Dixon Springs Highway in Carthage. Stick with the best, Hackett's Discount Drugs.
Welcome back to the Smith County Mayor Debate. Let's say a major employer is looking to put his or her business in either Smith County or Putnam County. At this point, they are 50-50 on the decision. Give your pitch as to why his or her business should come to Smith County. And Mr. Woodard, we're going to start with you.
Well, the reason I think they should come to Smith County is the biggest thing we've got going for us is the work ethic that we have here. And we have a lot of really fine people, and when a good job is offered, you get a lot of good candidates here. And even though we've got a 2.1 unemployment rate, we have a lot of people here that when a good employer comes, they're going to show up at the door and they're going to be there. And our workforce is a big asset for us, and the work ethic that we have here. The other thing is that when you come to Smith County, you don't spend hours or long minutes commuting from one place to another. Our commute in the morning is pretty easy. I know a lot of people, when they come to Gordonsville and they hit that intersection there, they think that's a long wait, but it really isn't, because when you go to Nashville and places like that, all of you probably have done this, when you get to the Old Hickory exit there, everything shuts down, and it's that way all the way into Nashville. When you're in a metropolitan area, that's the way it is. Well, Cookeville has some of those same problems more than we do. So we've got that. The other thing is, living in a rural setting, I think you have a selling point of being in an area where the stress level is less. I think people like walking out of their work and being able to go get their kayak and go down to the Caney Fork and get in it and relax, or go to the lake and fish, or do something like that. And when you have that to offer, there are a lot of companies that are wanting their employees to have opportunities like that. And I know Cookeville is kind of close to where we are, but they've got a little bit more of that stress level than we have. Here in Smith County, we don't have that. The people in Smith County, I don't believe you can be treated nicer anywhere. I believe they're some of the finest people in the world, and I believe when somebody gets plugged in here, when I was working at the mine, all of the senior level staff lived here, raised their children here, and they were from here.
Mr. Woodard, I'm sorry, we're going to have to cut you off. Mr. Jones.
I guess my pitch to begin with would be to explain the industrial park expansion that we're already working on. If we've got a new company that's interested in the area, they're going to be interested in infrastructure, site-ready pads, workforces. They're going to be interested in all those things, plus incentives. And incentives for us across the state, it's going to be pretty basic as far as tax incentives. It's not going to change, but a workforce is what runs your company after the incentives go away. And of course, if anyone's paying attention to the governor's race, it is very important that they're working on trade skills. And I've talked with most of them already about a trade vocational school, skilled labor coming here, and many of them are very interested in this area. Now, I can't speak for them, but I know that they're pushing that. And with a skilled labor workforce, then your company goes forever and ever with a good workforce. Now, we have a high rate of people that are leaving the area for our workforce right now. It's something we've got to work on. But to do that, these companies that you're asking the question over is what we're looking for. If we can bring those kind of companies here, we've got the workforce that already lives here, but we can prolong that with more education in technical trades.
Mr. Mason.
I guess kind of what I would say is let's look at this from a different angle. All right, are we talking about today, or are we talking about where we want to be? Because if we're talking about where we want to be, then we've put the work in. We have that site ready spot, and we've talked about pad levels already. But let's go one step further. Let's go with private investors and build those buildings. If we're competing with Cookeville, 840, that area, they've already got the building, so they're a step ahead of us. The county doesn't need to build those buildings, but there's private investors that will come in and build those buildings and get us to that point. And you're not locked in, because when I was in stamping, I went to work in a building that was a warehouse, and what they did was they adjusted, they dug pits for the presses, they went to work, and it works just fine today for that kind of business. So you're not locked in if you build a building. So we've done our work infrastructure-wise. We've created a new interchange, or we've fixed our traffic troubles. Because if we don't fix that, you're behind already. We have to make the steps for the infrastructures, like we've already mentioned. Hopefully, by that time, we've introduced trade skills into our schools, so we can say we have an educated workforce. The kind of jobs we need to pay the amounts we need in manufacturing are not just putting rivets in and spinning them anymore. We need stamping that brings skilled trade, tool and die makers, press operators. We need high-tech automation with robots, pick and place, and those kind of things that do the manufacturing on the high-end skill, and it takes high-skilled trade workers. And we need to pay the $20, $25 an hour jobs, and we are at 2.1% unemployment, but those people that drive out of this county every day will come home for those jobs, and when they come home, they spend their money here, they buy their lunch here, and they enjoy their time at home because they have a less commute.
Mr. Slack.
The way I would sell it, if it was between us, Putnam County, us, or Wilson County, us, and Sumner County, or us, and Trousdale County, I'd just tell them, come and look at us. I'd say, come in and see our community. See how our county works. See how our people are. How good, home-hearted people they are. I would bring them in on a Friday night when Carthage was playing somebody or Gornsville was playing somebody, and I would show them how our town shuts down, how our town is loyal to our schools and to our kids to watch them in the community. I would show them our parks and say, look, we have places for you to go. Just like Mr. Bill said, kayaking. It's becoming a big industry here. If you were at the fair last week, there's no telling how many kayaks they put down that river last week. But to sell it to them would be very easy if they would see the home roots that Smith County has. That's how you sell it to them. You know, yes, we're going to have to give them some tax breaks. That's just the way it is to get a factory in here. But in years to come, that'll go away and those factories will still be here. You know, we have had jobs here that former county mayors have sold to bring in here, you know, sold it to them like Dura. We've had these tool and die making jobs. We've had everything here, and it's went away. The reason is for us to be able to sell it is to just show them who we are. We're Smith County. We're not Putnam County. We're not Macon County. We're a small county with home value and home roots. That's how I'd sell it to them.
Mr. Jones, we'll start with you for this next question, and it's something that you've already mentioned, but if you'll go more in detail, if elected, would you support tax incentives for new companies located in Smith County? Why or why not?
And of course I would. If you know, that's an incentive for a company to come here, and that would bring new jobs, and that would be something that would be expected anywhere in the state. That's what companies look at. How are you going to help us get started? What is your infrastructure around your sites? Now, and to be fair to established companies, we need to be looking at something that we can help our local businesses with already, that are established and that are here and that are giving our people jobs and tax revenue. So we've got to work on that as well. We can't just give the world to a new company. We've got to support our local businesses. Those businesses are our backbone. That's what runs us now. So we can't neglect them by saying, well, we'll give you the world, but the other people that are already here, you ain't getting nothing. So we've got to work on, you know, the tax incentives are pretty normal for something across the state, but you can't forget about your businesses that's already established.
Mr. Mason.
Yes, I would support an aggressive tax incentive package to get those people here.
And why?
You have to compete in today's world. You have to offer something that nobody else is. You have to be different than your competition. So we have to be overly aggressive in that method.
Mr. Slack.
Yes, I would support it. We actually already do that now. Several years ago, when Bonnell wanted to expand, we gave those tax credits. The state come in here. If you do not give tax credits, you're not going to get anywhere. You have to have that to help them. And as Mr. Jones said, our factories that are here, we sure need to take care of them because we do not want to lose what we've got with them. But if you don't give tax incentives and aggressive, as Jeff said, you're not going to get anybody in here. Your next county mayor has got to hit the ground running with this new industrial park. Yes, we're probably 3 years from having it open and going. If you've ever been over there, it's a hill up and down one side and down the other. But it's something that can be worked out. I'm not sure it was the best place for an industrial park with all the land use work that's got to be done, but it's already a done deal. But we've got to have an aggressive tax plan and show these people that we want them here. I guess those sayings, we got to wine and dine them to get them in here.
Mr. Woodard.
At least 2 or 3 times a week across my desk comes a request for a site. And these are companies that Tennessee ECD and the other agencies in the county or the state government are looking for these people to try and place them somewhere in the state. And tax incentive package, we already do that. We give them like a 5-year tax abatement, and it's a sliding scale with a percentage that drops off with each year, so that we get our full tax base at the end of a period of time. But what we need and what we've got to have is a place to put them. Every one of our buildings right now that will hold somebody that can use a 17-foot or above building is full. The only buildings that we have are empty, have a low overhead, and it's hard to get anybody to come to it. They're looking for 30-foot buildings now, 30-foot or bigger. And so we've got to have this pad ready, and we've got to be able to have it ready for them to build a building on that meets their needs, because you're going to have a hard time knowing exactly who's going to come in and what their requirements are. But tax incentives, yes, you're going to have to do them because everybody else around us does them, and they work.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for your answers to those questions. If you're watching at home, do not touch that mouse. We will be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Why settle for the rest? Stick with the best when it comes to your pharmaceutical needs. And around here, Hackett's Discount Drugs has long been the best in serving the needs of their customers. From medical supplies to filling your prescriptions, the staff at Hackett's Discount Drugs go the extra mile to make sure their customers are served in a friendly, timely manner. Call today or stop by 70 Dixon Springs Highway in Carthage. Stick with the best. Hackett's Discount Drugs.
Joey Nixon has lived in District 7 all of his life. Joey is a fourth-generation county commissioner. His parents, Kenneth and Linda Nixon, raised him here, and now he and his wife, Rusty, are raising 2 children of their own. But not only is Joey a family man, he is a community man. He volunteers his time on many boards and organizations and strives to make District 7 a better place for our future. So don't forget to vote starting July 13th for District 7 County Commissioner candidate Joey Nixon.
My name is Joey Nixon, and I'd appreciate your support and vote on August 2nd.
We're a family farm that's been in business since 1927, started with my great-grandfather. Hal and Meadows and their staff there have been exceptional to recognize our needs, to have a product that meets our needs, that quality service that we can only find with their company.
We realize that you have many choices when purchasing insurance products. We at Palmettos want to be the choice. Let us show you what real customer service can be.
At Powell & Meadows Insurance Agency, we work for you. Call today or visit us online anytime.
RM McCaleb Transportation Company is a local family-owned business that is always looking for good, experienced drivers. If working in the Southeast and being home on the weekends interests you, check us out on Facebook or visit our website, rmmccalebtransportation.com, or give Jake McCaleb a call, 615-489-6604. RM McCaleb Transportation Company, it's a good place to call home.
Are you tired of reading news in a bulky newspaper? Smith County Insider has you covered with up-to-date, real-time news at the touch of your fingertips. The citizens of Smith County deserve to know what's happening around them as it happens. Let Smith County Insider help you promote your business or special events with our personalized advertising packages. Be sure to visit us at our website, smithcountyinsider.com, or follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to the Smith County Mayoral debate. We'll start this next question with Jeff Mason. Jeff, in November of this year, Smith County voters will be asked to vote on keeping or repealing the 3/4 cent sales tax that was allocated for the school debt. Are you in favor or opposed to this repeal, and why?
I'm in favor of keeping that on. 3/4 of a cent at the end of the day is a burden. Tax burden is not that much. You don't even notice that when you buy groceries. That's about $600,000 in revenue, I think is what they said, and we can use that for some new things. And we can get our sheriff's departments and our EMS guys some raises and get them up where they need to be, and maybe pay some of our debt down.
Mr. Slack.
I'm in favor for keeping it because we've got some upcoming things that we've got to do. And if we take it off, we're just going to have to put it back on them. And, we need to take this money, if we can, give all county employees a raise. I know we have a lot of county employees that live just above the poverty level the way they're paid, believe it or not. But, they have repeating cost of insurance, which is going up. And I've had several of the county employees talk to me and ask about raises. And I think what we need to do with this money is take and use it on a day-to-day basis. But if we build a new school over in Gornsville, we've got to come up with the money for that, and that's going to be a lot of money that we've got to work with. So we should keep this. I believe any tax is a burden on any person, whether it be a minor cost every day or a major cost. It's just these are times that everything's going up except your paycheck. So I think we should keep it, but we should be very delicate with it and how we keep it and what we do with it.
Mr. Woodard.
We should keep the 3/4 cent sales tax if at all possible. Of course, that's a decision the voters have to make. It is about $600,000 a year. It currently goes to school debt retirement. If it was earmarked for a particular debt, I believe it should remain as school debt retirement because we are going to be facing a growth period. We're going to have to do some things in our schools. We're going to have to do some expansion and building, and we need to have money there to do it. If you couple this $600,000 with the $400,000 that's coming in from the property tax, you'll have about $1 million a year that's going into that fund. And whether they decide to do something in 3 years, 5 years, whatever it is, you'll have that $1 million sitting there to where you'll be able to use it toward the school debt retirement. And so when you go for your bond issue, you won't be as big, and you'll have something to start with. So I would urge people when it comes on the ballot in November to vote to keep the 3/4 cent sales tax.
Mr. Jones.
Now, I'm going to have to agree with Mr. Woodard. He hit the nail right on the head with that. I would keep it if I think it's a wise thing. A tax such as that is a quality or a use tax. It's not a burden on just a small percentage of the people. It's across the board. Everybody pays their share of that. The money, it should stay with the school. It's something that we do have some growing pains, and it's something that we're going to have to look at as far as building new facilities for our schools. But yes, I'm going to have to agree with him. Yes.
The next question is, if elected mayor and if nominated as the chairman of the county commission, would you relinquish your chairman's status on the county commission and let a chairman be elected from within the commission and have veto power? Or would you chair the commission, relinquishing your veto power? We'll start with Mr. Slack.
If I'm elected, I will not serve as chair. I think the mayor for many years here has done that. In other counties, they don't. I believe it gives the mayor more of a working spot than being the chairman of the board. Of course, the mayor will still reside over every meeting that comes in. He's in there with it with the chairman of that committee. But no, I will not serve as chairman of the county court.
Mr. Woodard.
I will execute the will of the county commission. And if they want to elect me as chairman, I would accept it. If they wanted not to elect me as chairman, I would be just as happy with that because, as you point out, as mayor, you would have veto power. So from a standpoint of being able to govern, I don't think it would make any difference from that standpoint. The mayor would still set the agenda. He would still have a lot of the power that or the responsibility of taking care of the court, sending out the notices, and his office is taking care of that along with Ms. Cliffa Norris. Her office does that. So I don't see that as an issue that the mayor needs to really worry about. I think the county court can make that decision. And those 24 men over the years I have found as a group are pretty wise.
Mr. Jones.
Yes, I agree with that as well. The county commission, they have that authority to, I know the question is, would I accept it or not? I would allow them to make that decision. The The county commission is the voice of the people. The mayor is the CEO of this business or county. The county commission is who really controls our decisions, and with that, I would allow the county commission to set that if I did or did not, and I would accept it. Or and then if they did not want me there, that'd be fine as well.
Mr. Mason.
Well, I've discussed this with some other commissioners in the past, and I think what I would do is, if I'm elected as that commissioner, as the chairman, the first term, the first year, I would keep that because that's the will. But I would do some serious more investigation, go and seeing other governments and how they work, and maybe the second year step down as chairman and take that veto power. I think our founding fathers set us up the right way with 3 branches of government. We probably would have 2 branches of government here because that would make the mayor and the commission a separate entity. And as Mr. Woodard said, the mayor would still continue his duties, but he wouldn't be the chairman, and he would have that veto power.
All right. We will be right back live from the Hall Theater inside the Smith County Courthouse right after this break.
RM McCaleb Transportation Company is a local family-owned business that is always looking for good, experienced drivers. If working in the Southeast and being home on the weekends interests you, check us out on Facebook or visit our website, rmmccalebtransportation.com, or give Jake McCaleb a call, 615-489-6604. RM McCaleb Transportation Company, it's a good place to call home.
We're a family farm that's been in business since 1927, started with my great-grandfather. Hal and Meadows and their staff there have been exceptional to recognize our needs, to have a product that meets our needs, that quality service that we can only find with their company.
We realize that you have many choices when purchasing insurance products. We at Palmettos want to be the choice. Let us show you what real customer service can be.
At Powell & Meadows Insurance Agency, we work for you. Call today or visit us online anytime.
Joey Nixon has lived in District 7 all of his life. Joey is a 4th-generation county commissioner. His parents, Kenneth and Linda Nixon, raised him here, and now he and his wife, Rusty, are raising 2 children of their own. But not only is Joey a family man, he is a community man. He volunteers his time on many boards and organizations and strives to make District 7 a better place for our future. So don't forget to vote starting July 13th for District 7 County Commissioner candidate Joey Nixon.
My name is Joey Nixon, and I'd appreciate your support and vote on August 2nd.
Why settle for the rest? Stick with the best when it comes to your pharmaceutical needs. And around here, Hackett's Discount Drugs has long been the best in serving the needs of their customers. From medical supplies to filling your prescriptions, the staff at Hackett's Discount Drugs go the extra mile to make sure their customers are served in a friendly, timely manner. Call today or stop by 70 Dixon Springs Highway in Carthage. Stick with the best. Hackett's Discount Drugs.
Welcome back to the Smith County mayoral debate. This next question will be for Billy Woodard. Mr. Woodard, if elected mayor, how do you plan to operate the county, keeping the costs down for Smith County citizens?
Well, that actually is not that hard of a question because you have a budget and finance committee that you go to, and you are set out with your budget for each department and every person that's in it. So you you have a template to follow. We've been doing this for many years now. We've handed in our budget on time. We've had a balanced budget. We've been able to give county employee raises every year for the last 3-4 years. We are operating Smith County. I told somebody one time, I said, I live in the most fiscally sound state and the most fiscally sound county in that state, and I believe that with all my heart. Our cities are in good shape. The fiscal budget of the county is run by the county commission, and you operate under their guidance, and you use that budget. Now, sure, the mayor gets to call some shots on how things are spent. You might get to change a line item from one thing to another. But if you follow the budget, you're going to keep the taxes down. And we get enough growth in the county each year to where it's so far absorbed where we haven't had a tax increase. And I'm hoping that continues. If we get some of these factories in here, and they have their ad valorem tax large enough. We're going to see some large increases. We had a good hit last year, and so I think a penny year before last was $37,000. It's $39,000 this year, and that doesn't sound like a lot of money, but when you add that up, it gives you a little money to work with. So I think we can work within our budget. Sales tax is going up. If we can keep bringing retail in here and get these commercial businesses in here and people spending their money inside the county, 48% of our workforce works in the county, 52% goes out. If we could gain that back to where it's reverse of that, all of that money that's being spent would be spent in Smith County.
Mr. Jones.
Well, being on the county commission, I've got to see the inner workings of this, and it's the commission does a very great job of being able to budget and everything, and it's just like you would at home. If you don't have the money, you don't spend it, and so you don't overspend, and we take pride in that. As far as any new program, I like the grants program. I've worked in state and federal government with grants programs that bring new money in, and I'd like to replace some of the money that we use for projects with some of the bigger governments, larger governments, as far as bringing in what they have to offer. I do have a plan on a grant writer, full-time grant writer for our county if I get the opportunity. So,
Mr. Mason.
I bring a little different perspective to this, coming from the manufacturing side and dealing with engineers and how they work. And every process we can look at and find ways to do it better, less expensive, and make jobs easier. I think as mayor, my job would be to lead those teams in finding ways that there's things that we're doing that we can do better and do more efficient. One of the worst things that you never hear this if you hear this in a manufacturing setting, you'll get thrown out of a room. Well, we've always done it that way. Well, it's time to kind of look at doing things differently. If you look at our the way we do our agendas and everything, there's a lot of trees get killed when we do paper agendas and budgets and stuff. And I believe there's money out there as far as with grants for technology upgrades and doing different things with our meetings and changing that kind of things.
Mr. Slack.
What we can do is, on our budget, is a lot of the departments turn back in money every year. If they're turning back in money, why are we appropriating so much money for them every year? And if we give a person a budget set on what they had the year before and they used, plus the increases that they need for the next year, such as raises, we can have a little bit more money in our general fund to do things with. So it's just, as Jeff said, it's a little change. And I've worked in county government since I was 18 years old, and the word I've always heard is that we've always done it that way. Well, it's not the way it needs to be done. It's the way it's always been done. History is very important, but we can make some changes and do some better.
The next question is, how do you plan to inform our county citizens of decisions that you want to make? And Mr. Jones, we'll start with you.
Okay, I'm very transparent with everything I do. This being in state government already, there's nothing that we hide. It's if you're not out in the open with all decisions, then somebody feels like you're doing something wrong. So already living that life, it'll be simple. We've got to do better with technology. There's some boards that I'd like to establish that will update our county. Things that, for example, I've spoke with many people in the media field about a technology board and being transparent with that as well. Just do it right. Do it right and have nothing to hide. It's that simple.
Mr. Mason.
Communication and education on the issues facing this county will be key for the next mayor to gain the support and the trust of his constituents, because at the end of the day, it's their seat. We just sit in it. So we've ran a pretty aggressive social media campaign with this election. I intend, if elected, to keep that page going and share it with the citizens every time we have big decisions or every time there's something big happening, and still get that message out there. Again, transparent, and as I've traveled around in the past 4 or 5 months, I've learned that we don't really understand exactly how the government works. So I intend to kind of educate people on that with the help of social media, just talking to people. I've listened a lot, and my door will always be open. I'll listen to you. Sometimes no will be the answer, but we also have to back that no up with a reason why it's no. In my line of work, I get no a lot, but I also have to say no a lot. So if you can back no up with facts and data and a reason why it's no, then you're educating the people and they understand better why you can't do what you do, whether that be financial, law, or whatever.
Mr. Slack.
Of course, using the internet's a very good way to do things. I think your county mayor should have at least a monthly program through some media source to our citizens of the county to tell them what's going on. But we have to realize also, I know I've talked about infrastructure, we have a lot of people in our county that does not use the internet. You know, I think the county mayor needs to go back to the old-fashioned meetings in the communities. Each community has a fire department. You could have a community meeting there at least every 3 to 6 months, give people what's going on, let them speak to you about what they want to talk about, and move forward like that. We can just not rely on the internet for getting things out there. The county mayor needs to be using our local newspaper as well as using the Smith County Insider to put things out there every week about what's going on. But my plan would be is to hold a monthly live feed, but also hold monthly meetings as much as I could in the communities to let the people see me, shake their hands, tell me what they need, and see what we can do for their community.
Mr. Slack, thank you so much for that free advertisement for us. Mr. Woodard.
Well, I definitely would want to use all media that's possible. In the state of Tennessee, we have a sunshine law, and it's worked very good for years. You can't do anything in the dark. You can't pass any legislation. You can't discuss anything without it being public access. And there are very few exceptions to that. Maybe in a possibility of an employee or a student or something like that, you might be able to discuss things privately. So the answer to that is use all possible media and use meetings and get anytime anybody will let you speak. The Rotary Club, the Chamber Corner, the Smith County Insider, the Courier, anybody else that'll let you talk to them and keep the door open and let people hear what you have to say.
Back-to-back free advertising. That's awesome. Thank you guys so much. And make sure that you check out our great sponsors, those who are listening at home and watching at home. As we take another commercial break, we'll be right back.
Why settle for the rest? Stick with the best when it comes to your pharmaceutical needs. And around here, Hackett's Discount Drugs has long been the best in serving the needs of their customers. From medical supplies to filling your prescriptions, the staff at Hackett's Discount Drugs go the extra mile to make sure their customers are served in a friendly, timely manner. Call today or stop by 70 Dixon Springs Highway in Carthage. Stick with the best. Hackett's Discount Drugs.
Joey Nixon has lived in District 7 all of his life. Joey is a fourth-generation county commissioner. His parents, Kenneth and Linda Nixon, raised him here, and now he and his wife, Rusty, are raising 2 children of their own. But not only is Joey a family man, he is a community man. He volunteers his time on many boards and organizations and strives to make District 7 a better place for our future. So don't forget to vote starting July 13th for District 7 County Commissioner candidate Joey Nixon.
My name is Joey Nixon, and I'd appreciate your support and vote on August 2nd.
We're a family farm that's been in business since 1927, started with my great-grandfather. Hal and Meadows and their staff there have been exceptional to recognize our needs, to have a product that meets our needs, that quality service that we can only find with their company.
We realize that you have many choices when purchasing insurance products. We at Palmettos want to be the choice. Let us show you what real customer service can be.
At Powell & Meadows Insurance Agency, we work for you. Call today or visit us online anytime.
RM McCaleb Transportation Company is a local family-owned business that is always looking for good, experienced drivers. If working in the Southeast and being home on the weekends interests you, check us out on Facebook or visit our website, rmmccalebtransportation.com, or give Jake McCaleb a call, 615-489-6604. RM McCaleb Transportation Company, it's a good place to call home.
Are you tired of reading news in a bulky newspaper? Smith County Insider has you covered with up-to-date real-time news at the touch of your fingertips. The citizens of Smith County deserve to know what's happening around them as it happens. Let Smith County Insider help you promote your business or special events with our personalized advertising packages. Be sure to visit us at our website, smithcountyinsider.com, or follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to the Smith County Mayoral Debate. Mr. Mason, we'll start with you for this next question. If you were to receive a $1 million grant for our county to use any way that you wanted, how would you use it and why?
Wow. That's a good question. Let me think. I think we would, is that a one-time grant?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Infrastructure. We got to figure out a way to get a kickstart on our infrastructure like we talked tonight. We could throw that at broadband because that's a huge issue in the county. There's still people that don't have water, but broadband has become the new water issue. If you talk to small business people and people that work from home and the farmers that are high-tech today, broadband internet is a major need for our guys. I was talking to one other day, and he said it took him 45 minutes to send an email to an ag dealer about a new tractor. Well, 45 minutes to a farmer is a lot because he's got a lot to get done. So I would take that money and apply it to our infrastructure.
Mr. Slack.
I believe I would take the money and I would do a needs list through all of our county agencies and see what they all need. That $1 million could be used instead of tax dollars being used. We could take it and just put out to every department, what do you need that you did not get in your budget? It could. I know right now our Central District Fire Department's needing a new tanker. That's probably a $300,000 hit right there. So you could just look and see what is needed. I'm sure some of our offices up here at the Turner Building are needing new computers, new copiers. That stuff all adds up. Our Sheriff's Department can use new things, I'm sure, but just like every department could use new things. So I believe I would take that, do a needs assessment, and buy what we need with that to save our tax dollars out of our general fund.
Mr. Woodard.
First off, it had to be used in a non-recurring expense. In other words, you don't want to use that for something that's going to be happening every year, because if you use the $1 million for something that happens every year, what are you going to do for your follow-up? So it needs to be a non-recurring expense. Broadband is a good thing. Infrastructure is a good thing. One of the things that we don't have around here, and some places they still don't have, is the water lines that they need. Some places don't have sewer. There are a lot of things that we can look at that needs to be put in place that would help us in the county to be able to grow. And you want to invest a $1 million grant in something that's going to give you a return. So you need to take and study what it is that you could spend it on that would actually enhance your revenue or enhance the quality of life of the people here, and what that would be. I can think of 1,000 things that you could do. We have a burgeoning tourism, coming here with the kayaks that's coming in. We've got a new guy that just opened up, and I don't know if you've noticed, but we've got a lot more people. Last year, this end of the river was completely ignored. This year, I have seen hundreds of people coming down the river. They come into our county, they buy stuff at our restaurants, they spend money in our stores, and they want something to do while they're here. So you could take a $1 million grant and you could do a lot of different things with it. That's just four to name a few.
Mr. Jones.
I don't think you could limit that to one thing. Of course, I believe you'd start a priority list, and priorities would be safety and the well-being of our people. Emergency services would get a lot of it. We've got to be able to protect and provide life-saving measures for everyone, and that would be first. Infrastructure on the county roads, I'd like to improve. We've got some pretty rough county roads right now that really need some work done on it. But those two things I can see them being priorities that money can go towards. And as Mr. Woodard said, you can't have it on a reoccurring. You can't give raises with it. You can't, if it's just a one-time thing, then you've got to do something that you're going to take away from an improvement that you wanted to do, or even updating medical and law enforcement facilities.
The next question is, what is your opinion on school resource officers? The County Commission recently allotted more money for more SROs, but was it enough? Too much? Mr. Slack.
I think every school should have an SRO officer in it. I have been involved in emergency services since I was 18 years old. I have actually served as a reserve officer for the Sheriff's Department, been through SWAT training. And in that training, you learn a lot about our school system. Our folks in their schools without our SROs are just, they're there. They have no protection whatsoever other than the training that they get. SROs is a great thing. That patrol car sitting out in front of a school can deter many things. It can deter somebody coming in trying to cause harm. It can have a parent that's mad, and when they pull up and they see that patrol car, they might cool off real quick before they go in there. So I support SROs 100%. Each school should have one. I believe with the passing of the budget the other night, I believe every school has one now, and I think it's a great thing. I think we need to seek avenues of grants to help pay for these folks, to get them the right equipment that they need and the right training to have them ready for an active shooter situation in a school.
Mr. Woodard.
Oh, there's no doubt SROs are important, and in this last court we voted to fill out the positions that were unfilled. And if the sheriff can hire them, they'll be in the schools this fall starting. And there's no doubt that they're very necessary in our schools. Another thing that I think coupled with the SROs is something that we need to look at is guidance counselors and people that can look at children that are troubled and identify them and try and get them in a position to where they wouldn't be a candidate to do some of these horrific things that have been done. A lot of times I think if we give the school the resources to do something like that, they can preempt this, and then we don't lose not only the children that are harmed, but the one that was doing the harm. There's a lot of things that we can do, but SROs, that's the first line of defense, and we need to have them in every school, and we will have them next year if the sheriff can hire the personnel.
Mr. Jones.
Yes, SROs for sure, 100% behind them. The first level of law enforcement is officer presence. That deters so much that doesn't even have to have any enforcement past that normally. What thing we do overlook a lot of times is if that officer never has to take action in law enforcement. You think, well, was he necessary? Well, today's times, it's a 24/7 world. That mentorship, that rapport that officer builds with these children, from then on out, he becomes someone that he looks up to. And in today's times, some homes, the cops are the bad guys, and that brings on a new relationship that maybe is not. Maybe it changes society for forever. That we never see, that we never realize because of the presence of that officer there. Yeah, 100% behind him.
Mr. Mason.
Yes, 100% behind them. I applaud the county commission for doing the right thing and getting that passed and put in this year's budget. It needs to be done, and I echo what Billy and Mark and Ricky said. It's a first line of defense, but it's also a welcoming person at the door. I mean, if your child walks in, and we have some great SROs already in this county that are mentors and people that these kids can look up to. My wife's in the education system, and she teaches at Gornsville, and I hear the horror stories. The world is so different than when I grew up because these kids they don't have that adult leadership maybe at home that we did. And so anybody that can be involved and for the protection, number one, it's a deterrent. It keeps the disasters from happening in our schools. But also they're a welcoming voice, and they show that there's still some good people in the world.
All right, gentlemen, those in the audience, those watching at home, closing statements are coming up right after the break.
RM McCaleb Transportation Company is a local family-owned business that is always looking for good, experienced drivers. If working in the Southeast and being home on the weekends interests you, check us out on Facebook or visit our website, rmmccalebtransportation.com, or give Jake McCaleb a call, 615-489-6604. RM McCaleb Transportation Company, it's a good place to call home.
We're a family farm that's been in business since 1927, started with my great-grandfather. Hal and Meadows and their staff there have been exceptional to recognize our needs, to have a product that meets our needs, that quality service that we can only find with their company.
We realize that you have many choices when purchasing insurance products. We at Palomettos want to be the choice. Let us show you what real customer service can be.
At Powell & Metals Insurance Agency, we work for you. Call today or visit us online anytime.
Joey Nixon has lived in District 7 all of his life. Joey is a fourth-generation county commissioner. His parents, Kenneth and Linda Nixon, raised him here, and now he and his wife, Rusty, are raising 2 children of their own. But not only is Joey a family man, he is a community man. He volunteers his time on many boards and organizations and strives to make District 7 a better place for our future. So don't forget to vote starting July 13th for District 7 County Commissioner candidate Joey Nixon.
My name is Joey Nixon, and I'd appreciate your support and vote on August 2nd.
Why settle for the rest? Stick with the best when it comes to your pharmaceutical needs. And around here, Hackett's Discount Drugs has long been the best in serving the needs of their customers. From medical supplies to filling your prescriptions, the staff at Hackett's Discount Drugs go the extra mile to make sure their customers are served in a friendly, timely manner. Call today or stop by 70 Dixon Springs Highway in Carthage. Stick with the best. Hackett's Discount Drugs.
Welcome back to the Smith County Mayoral debate. This next question is for you, Mr. Woodard. The opioid crisis has been something that has hit Smith County hard. What is your plan to continue to curb that as well as other illegal drugs?
My plan would be to continue to work with the Smith County Drug Prevention Coalition. We've got a wonderful setup here. Miss Barbara Knappel is running that. I've been a member of it since the inception, and they are actually making a difference. We have drug court that works here, and Judge Collins is making an impact on people. I went to a drug court graduation just yesterday, and a young man, he'd been sober for 454 days. We applauded him for that. He was very proud of that fact, and he talked about what happened to him and why he got into that position. And he made this statement. He says, "I'm so glad I got put in the Smith County jail." He said, these other jails around here, they don't care. But he said, people in Smith County, they were coming to me, and they were saying, hey, how about this program? How about that program? We've got a wonderful setup here with what we have going if we'll keep it going. Right now it's grant funded, and the county, it puts some money in out of the budget with it, but we need to keep the opioid and the Drug Prevention Coalition going like we have, and the drug court going like we've got. We've got a good setup here. I can't really say anything disparaging at all about what's going on here. Our community service coordinator, Mr. Junior Nesbitt, he's working with the court, and you have these people that at one time they would just languish because they couldn't get their community service. Now we have people that are they're figuring out, I'd rather work at a job and get paid than work for the county for free. And all of those things combined are making a climate here to where people are seeing that it's a whole lot better to not be doing that stuff. Do we have a problem? And will it continue? Yes, it will. You'll always have that with you. But right now we're fighting it, and I don't know if you could say we were winning the war, but we're sure making a dent in it, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
Mr. Jones.
We do have some great programs here, some great people that work with us. They really care. They really work hard with what they've got. Any of our questions that we've had tonight, I think we should have plans of actions that's already in play. And I've talked to some of the senators about some assistance and more grants and more money, and that's something that I've been blessed to be a part of, that's seeing those programs work. And I'm hoping that regardless of who fills this position, that all that we can still use. We're gonna work together regardless, and we're gonna try to move forward and help with recovery and rehab. And it's not one answer. There's several answers for that problem. It's law enforcement, it's technology, it's rehab, it's recovery, it's all these things. And yes, we do have some great people and some great programs, and we're just gonna push it as hard as we can. We gotta help these people that's going through this.
Mr. Mason.
Yes, I will work with Sheriff and his department and help with any way we can to continue their efforts to fight this problem. They're fighting it on the ground level every day, and they're doing a good job of trying to curtail that issue and keep it out of our systems. Also, the Drug Coalition and what they're doing, what the Drug Recovery Court is a great thing. I also attended that graduation yesterday, and it was a blessing to get to see that young man and tell his story. And that's one of the things that I think we need to do is we can sit here and spout out statistics and data and everything that we want to do that of what's we're facing. But if we tell these stories of these kids that are getting a second chance and are fighting it and are coming out on the other side with a future and a hope, then we can then we as the public can also get behind that better. I mean, this issue's got to the point where, and I was blown away by this, for years they've tried to take the church out of the government. Well, the state of Tennessee says, we give up. Church, help us. So we got to get in our churches and get those guys to help us too. We got to get this message needs to be preached from pulpits and churches rally around, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're Methodist, Baptist, Church of Christ, whatever you are. It's an issue we all face, and we all can come together and fix that and fight it. And like Billy said, they are winning the fight, but we got to keep the fight up and more battles.
Mr. Slack.
I probably have better knowledge of the opioid crisis because of the job that I do. I go to work every day, every third day, and some days I'll treat 1, 2, 3, 4 people that are opioid overdoses. And when you walk into a place and you see family members crying and you hold the key in your hand to help that person if they've not gotten too far, which is Narcan. I know that we need to put Narcan in our schools. We need to put Narcan in our sheriff's departments, our city police departments, our fire departments. It is the key to reversing the opioid. Nothing else will work on it. I've seen people that were unconscious and not breathing. We've given them 2 milligrams of Narcan, and the next 30 seconds to a minute, they're standing up, refusing to go to the hospital. So with our battle with the opioid crisis in Smith County, we still have to keep our programs going. It's already going. But we got to bring in another tool. We got to bring in Narcan, and we got to put it in all the hands of the first responders to use. The worst thing that can happen most of the time with Narcan is they're going to be sick when they wake up, but they're going to wake up 9 times out of 10. So we have got to take our program that we've got. If our grant funding ends, which it might, Smith County has got to pick up and keep the drug coalition going out of the general fund. But the biggest thing that we need to do is put Narcan in all the hands of our first responders so they can treat the disease when they get there, because that's what an opioid is. It is a disease. It is a crisis, but it's more of a disease. It's like alcoholism. You have to treat it. You have to do different things. You have to get them in programs to get them moved forward. But the biggest thing that I can say is we're going to put Narcan on the streets in our first responders' hands to help combat this.
All right, it is about time to wrap things up, but before we do, it's time for each candidate to give their closing statements. And we're going to start with Mr. Mark Jones, and just a reminder for all of you, the closing statements can be up to 3 minutes long because we have some added time during the broadcast. Mr. Jones, we'll start with you.
It's been an honor to be here tonight. I've enjoyed it. Campaigns, it's been a long campaign, but I've got to meet a lot of great people. It's something that a lot of people don't get to experience, and I'm very thankful for it. As far as my closing statements, I'm interviewing for this position. I've got a lot of experience, business and government experience that I'm offering. I'd love to make Smith County a better place with the help of everybody that cares, and that's we just you can never do enough. We limit ourselves. We always just stop ourselves from doing more, and I think that together, unity, we can make Smith County better than anywhere else in the world. Why not be number one?
Mr. Mason.
Again, thank you to everyone here tonight for how we've approached this and handled this with dignity and kindness, and it's been good. We've all kind of said basically the same things. We share the same visions. We may have had a little different approach at every time. So it's going to come down to who's the best man for the job. I heard a guy this week talking about another politician that he had talked to, and he said, you govern the way you campaign. Well, we've worked hard on this campaign. We've made it a point to do everything we can to gain your vote. And as Mark said earlier, it's a big county. I know I hadn't seen all of you. I know I hadn't shook your hands. I want to, but we're running out of time. But I've tried my best to be everything that we can to see you and ask you for your vote. We've worked hard, and I will work hard in this job. I bring knowledge from manufacturing, business to this job. we can say we're not politicians. We became politicians the day we announced for this job. That's what we are. It's politics. That's the way it is. So it comes down to who do you want representing your county every day. You want somebody that you can trust, can build relationships, has the connections across the state to get things done. I humbly ask for your vote and support.
Mr. Slack.
Yes, first of all, thank y'all for having this. Thank the gentleman here beside me. Everybody's run a good campaign. I believe the Smith County voters have a hard decision to make. One thing that I can say about myself is I have worked in government since I was 18 years old. I know the ins and outs of it. I have served at one of the highest ranking here in Smith County is your EMS 911 director. I was very lucky to be county commissioner before. When you go to finance and budget meetings, you learn a lot. Running county government is a business, but it's not like a public business. It's I'm an everyday business out here, manufacturing or food service or whatever. It's completely different. And the person that comes in here needs the knowledge of writing grants. I've been very lucky in my years of being in emergency services. I've gotten over $500,000 in grants for help with that we have received. I have a plan to help save the constituents $500,000 by just a little bit of work with our fire departments to bring down our ISO rating in the entire county. And I know that's not a lot to each person, but it's a lot to the whole county, $500,000. And you know, if I don't win this election, one thing I plan on doing is 2 or 3 weeks after the new mayor goes in, I want to go in and share my thoughts with him of what we can do for this county. And I would ask these other 3 gentlemen that if I win, that they would do the same thing, because we all have great ideas. I believe if we could all 4 be in office, we might conquer the world's problems. What do y'all think, guys? But I'm Ricky Slack. I'm running for Smith County Mayor, and I humbly ask for your vote. And as you noticed, I don't do a lot of advertising. I don't do a lot of sign putting up. I'm pretty tight with money, and that ought to tell our taxpayers something right there. We want somebody that's going to be tight with their money, and I'm pretty tight. If you just ask the lady at the house, she'd tell you he's tight with his money. But ask for your vote, and thank you very much.
Mr. Woodard.
When you look at this stage and you see these gentlemen up here, some of them I've known for years and some of them I've just learned recently. I can say one thing from my experience of being out on the campaign trail and everything. These are good men. And so what happens is the voters of Smith County have got to make a decision when they look at the 4 or 5 people that are running. And the decision you've got to make is who is going to do the best job over the next 4 years of trying to bring Smith County further along and forward in all the areas that we've mentioned here. And we've talked about a lot of different things. And sure, some of us have different ideas. And I've told every one of these, and if I haven't told you, at the end of this race, if I'm not the mayor, I'm going to do everything I can to see Smith County be a better place. And I'm going to work just as hard as I ever did. I have met a lot of really nice people out there knocking on doors, and I'm like the rest of them. I hadn't probably made it around to all of them, and maybe I won't get to. I've met one dog that I really hate, and he bit me. But what I'm saying is that there are a lot of good folks out there, and folks, the decision is in your hand. You've got to look at what we're saying, what we've done over the last many years, what you think we will do, and you've got to make the decision, because this is a very important election. We're going to have a sea change in the mayor's office. We've had stability in the same thing for the last 16, 18 years. It's going to change. I don't care which one of us gets in there. We're not going to be the same as what it was before. And you've got to make that decision as to how you want it done and what direction you want us to go in. This may be one of the most important elections we've had in 20 years. And folks, we need to really pay attention to it. And I'm not just saying that because I'm running. I'm saying that because of what we're facing and what's coming. We've got a lot of things that are going to be happening. We're going to have some serious things happen with our school system. We've got some serious things happening with our health and safety. We've got a lot of things that are going to be hitting the county. We've got to get jobs. We don't want to become like the county that I didn't name, where they're losing their kids because they don't have places for them to plug in and get jobs. We don't want that to happen here. We want Smith County to keep rising and going up and maintain our wonderful values, the things that I learned when I was a child growing up. Folks, Smith County is a great place, and I'm applying for the job. I'd appreciate your vote.
Let's give a big round of applause to our Smith County Mayor candidates tonight. I'd like to say a big thanks to the studio audience for your respect towards these candidates tonight. Also to you at home for watching. We could not have produced this without you. We appreciate Bill Reese and others at the theater and courthouse for helping us with the venue tonight. We'd also like to thank Bass Funeral Home for sponsoring the cost of the rental fee for tonight's debate. Their family has been serving Smith County for 5 generations. With a member of the Bass family at each of their locations, you can be assured of their unending dedication and commitment. We would also like to thank our other sponsors tonight for helping make this event possible, and they are RM McCaleb Transportation, Joey Nixon for District 7 County Commission, and Hackett's Discount Drugs. But most of all, I would like to say a big thank you to those up on stage that are running for mayor. It's great to see the fair, competitive spirit in this county, and I hope that it will translate to the polls. I also forgot to mention one more advertiser, and that's Palmetto's Insurance, and we're very thankful that they advertised with us as well. There are many in our county who have the opportunity to vote for one of these candidates starting tomorrow. And I know the hope for everyone running is that all Smith County voters will show up to vote starting tomorrow, with the election day being on August 2nd. These candidates deserve your votes, and we hope to see you at your local polling station very soon. Again, we appreciate your attention and encourage you to go out and vote. Thank you for watching.
Why settle for the rest? Stick with the best when it comes to your pharmaceutical needs. And around here, Hackett's Discount Drugs has long been the best in serving the needs of their customers. From medical supplies to filling your prescriptions, the staff at Hackett's Discount Drugs go the extra mile to make sure their customers are served in a friendly, timely manner. Call today or stop by 70 Dixon Springs Highway in Carthage. Stick with the best. Hackett's Discount Drugs.
Joey Nixon has lived in District 7 all of his life. Joey is a 4th-generation county commissioner. His parents, Kenneth and Linda Nixon, raised him here, and now he and his wife, Rusty, are raising 2 children of their own. But not only is Joey a family man, he is a community man. He volunteers his time on many boards and organizations and strives to make District 7 a better place for our future. So don't forget to vote starting July 13th for District 7 County Commissioner candidate Joey Nixon.
My name is Joey Nixon, and I'd appreciate your support and vote on August 2nd.
We're a family farm that's been in business since 1927, started with my great-grandfather. Hal and Meadows and their staff there have been exceptional to recognize our needs, to have a product that meets our needs, that quality service that we can only find with their company.
We realize that you have many choices when purchasing insurance products. We at Palmetto's want to be the choice. Let us show you what real customer service can be.
At Powell & Meadows Insurance Agency, we work for you. Call today or visit us online anytime.
RM McCaleb Transportation Company is a local family-owned business that is always looking for good, experienced drivers. If working in the Southeast and being home on the weekends interests you, check us out on Facebook or visit our website, rmmccalebtransportation.com, or give Jake McCaleb a call, 615-489-6604. RM McCaleb Transportation Company, it's a good place to call home.
Are you tired of reading news in a bulky newspaper? Smith County Insider has you covered with up-to-date real-time news at the touch of your fingertips. The citizens of Smith County deserve to know what's happening around them as it happens. Let Smith County Insider help you promote your business or special events with our personalized advertising packages. Be sure to visit us at our website, smithcountyinsider.com, or follow us on Facebook and Twitter.